The moment the words left her lips, the room froze. This story is based on my real-life affair. The audience gasped, cameras flashed, and I could feel every eye in the room flicker between her and me. The betrayal, thick as poison, dripped from her voice, steady, confident, rehearsed. I sat there, hands clenched beneath the table, my pulse roaring in my ears. She smiled, basking in the attention, unaware that tonight wasn't just her moment. It was mine too. She had no idea what was coming. Lena and I had been married for 11 years. We were the couple everyone admired, successful, cultured, seemingly in sync. She was a rising literary star, and I, a devoted husband who supported her dreams. But behind closed doors, cracks had formed. Late nights at the laptop, guarded phone calls, the scent of unfamiliar cologne on her clothes. I ignored it for months, convincing myself it was stress, creative exhaustion. Then I found the manuscript. Her novel, The Unwritten, was a gut punch in literary form, a story about a woman trapped in a loveless marriage, rediscovering passion in the arms of another man. The details were eerily familiar, too intimate, too specific. It wasn't just fiction. It was confession. At first, I thought it was just a novel. Writers pull from their lives, don't they? But then I read a passage that sent ice through my veins. His scent lingers on my skin as I slip back into the bed I share with my husband. I want to tell him. I want to break free. But not yet, not until I have the courage to love myself more than I love his comfort. My comfort. That was me. She wasn't just writing about an affair. She was writing about leaving me. And she planned to unveil it at the book launch. Our friends, family, colleagues gathered around as she declared her truth. She thought she was about to shatter my world. She had no idea I had already started dismantling hers. I became an investigator in my own marriage. She wasn't careful. Her laptop was password protected, but her emails popped up as notifications on her phone while she slept. Messages from Adam. Affectionate. Familiar. One night, she left her phone on the kitchen counter. My hands trembled as I scrolled. Miss you already. Last night was unreal. Can't wait to have you to myself. The evidence was overwhelming. But I didn't rage. I didn't scream. I just felt empty. Until an idea took root. She was about to use her book to expose her husband as a clueless, passionless fool. But what if, instead of waiting to be blindsided, I took control of the narrative? What if she became the one exposed? I started gathering my pieces. Step 1, Adam. He wasn't just some nameless fling. He was her publisher. A married man. The one funding her book tour, arranging her glowing interviews. Step 2, evidence. Screenshots. Bank statements showing hotel charges. A hidden camera in our living room catching her late-night phone calls, whispered laughter, murmured I love yous to someone who wasn't me. Step 3, the perfect moment. She had invited everyone to the book launch, friends, family, her publisher's wife, media. She wanted a spectacle. So I planned one. I reached out to Adam's wife. Sent her everything. Every text. Every receipt. Every hidden truth buried in Lena's pages. Then, I sat back and waited. And now, here we were. Lena stood at the podium, radiant in her confidence. This book is deeply personal, she announced. It's the most honest thing I've ever written. She cast a glance at me, waiting for my reaction, expecting the humiliation to settle in. Instead, I stood. Calmly. Deliberately. The room hushed as I reached into my jacket, pulled out a folder, and walked to the stage. I have to thank you, Lena, I said, voice steady. For inspiring me to be honest too. I placed the folder on the podium. Ladies and gentlemen, I continued, turning to the crowd, since tonight is about truth, let's talk about the real story behind The Unwritten. Lena's face drained of color. She reached for the papers, flipping through them. Photos. Screenshots. Bank statements. And then, the final touch, an email from Adam, his words damning. "I can't keep doing this. If this gets out, we're finished." The audience murmured, eyes darting between Lena and Adam, who sat rigid in his seat, his wife beside him, phone in hand, fury blazing in her eyes. The silence was suffocating. Then, slap. Adam's wife stormed out. His career? Over. His marriage? Destroyed. Lena? She swayed on her feet, lips parting as if to speak. But there were no words left for her to twist. She turned to me, voice a whisper. "You planned this." I leaned in, just enough for her to hear. "You wrote the first draft, Lena. I just gave it a better ending." Her breath hitched. The audience, some stunned, some amused, some horrified, watched in real time as her empire crumbled. The publisher, Adam's boss, grabbed the microphone, forcing a stiff smile. "I think we should wrap this up." But the damage was done. As I walked off the stage, the weight that had pressed against my chest for months lifted. She had tried to write me as the fool in her story. Instead, I became the author of her downfall. I left the venue that night, stepping into the cold air, free for the first time in years. Lena's career was in tatters. Her book, once praised as raw and authentic, was now a scandalous joke. The publisher dropped her. The media feasted on the drama. She tried reaching out, apologies, excuses, desperate justifications. I ignored every one. Some stories aren't meant to be rewritten. She thought she was telling the world the story of her affair. But in the end, the real story was about how I turned the final page on us.